Mr. Wong from Genius Plus Academy, and today I'm here to share with you my personal experience teaching in a school and in a group class of 6 students. Now, let me give you my experience as a former school teacher. In a classroom, I often wish that I could clone myself to get my undivided attention. Who are the students who need my most attention? The students who are struggling because they are not able to follow what you are generally teaching and therefore they require more guidance. But I can't possibly stop the lesson to re-explain the matter to them. So that is where they lose out in a school setting. And there are students who will fall asleep in class not because they are disinterested necessarily, but because they don't feel as though you are teaching things that they do not know. They don't feel as though they are learning. Why? Because they are well ahead of the curve. But there is no way you can engage these particular groups of students. As a result, what would they do? They go on to disturb other students, or they simply fall asleep in class. So these are situations that when I step out to set up my own tuition center, these are problems that I wanted to fix. Now, you may ask, why 6? Why not 1? What is wrong with 1-to-1? Fundamentally, it varies from student to student. You may have a student who is able to sit down for 2 hours and focus through the entire lesson. So perhaps in those particular cases, and I can assure you that those cases are very rare, that may work out. But I do take 1-to-1 only when circumstances are severe enough. For example, they are really not able to focus in a group class. Even in a group of 2, 3, 4 students, they are constantly fidgeting and they are not able to pay attention. That is where we will recommend 1-to-1 tuition because they require that dedicated guidance. But for the majority of students, learning is not just an intellectual activity. Learning is also a social activity. And let's face it, learning with friends is always more enjoyable than learning by yourself. So we want to make sure that we do not make learning such a boring activity, which is often what happens when you're 1-to-1, but at the same time, not such a social activity that, oh, students are here not to learn, but because they want to make friends. So we understand that the social aspect of learning is also very important, and that is why we keep an optimal class size ratio of 6. Why 6? Because 6 is the ideal number where students have a lot of interaction with one another without being disruptive. And secondly, we are able to split the class effectively into groups of 2 or groups of 3. Why groups of 2 or 3? Because we want to make sure we moderate the learning by ensuring that students are able to assess what we are teaching. So after the group teaching is done, when they are going down to their individual practices, we want to make sure that we have a set of material that is catered to what they are able to cope with while at the same time stretching them. So for students who are better, we can leave them on to do their work by themselves first. But the students who need our dedicated guidance, that is where we go down to teach them the particular concepts to make sure they are able to understand the concepts. And after that, we reverse the roles. We go through the questions with the higher ability students while ensuring that the lower ability students are already able to cope with the assignments that have been given to them. And that is why we have experimented over time and over again to make sure that 6 is an optimal class size ratio. There are students and parents who prefer Zoom lessons. Why? Number 1, scheduling conflicts prevent them from accessing the lessons at a physical location. Or 2, the parents are confident enough that their children are independent learners and therefore they're able to access the material on their own without the teacher having to guide them through the entire process before them. In those particular cases, we acknowledge that there may be a difference in the quality, not in terms of the teaching, but in terms of what the student is able to receive from the tutor, and therefore that is why we apply a 30% discount on Zoom lessons for students who apply exclusively to Zoom lessons. Do note that there is no cap on class sizes for Zoom students.